Hi and welcome to this video. Hopefully in this video you'll see how I'll make this aircraft stop and a couple of other little tiddly bits. We'll see how we get on, so join me. Let's see if I can explain my bleeding method on these brakes. I've got a syringe there going down to the bleed nipple. Very hard for me to point out, but it's at the front of the master cylinder, at the bottom at the front of the master cylinder, and that's acting as sort of a reservoir. I'll put brake fluid into there. It'll then go fill up the brake master cylinder, go through the pipe work, all under gravity, expelling the air out of the master cylinder, although I will pump it a couple of times just to make sure it's not in the seals. It'll travel down through here, through the undercarriage leg, down to the caliper, to the upper bleed nipple here, where I'll have a pipe with a pot at the end, so it's just draining into the pot, and I can observe when the fluid's got down to there, and hopefully there's no air in it. I'll just continually top up here with brake fluid, and then for the final rush, because the air does try, and the air in the system does try to come back up the system, I'll put the plunger into the top here and push down to expel air out of the bottom, all the way through and out the bottom, which is quite easy to do, and that way I'll make sure I've got no air in this system. I'm using a synthetic silicon based brake fluid, so it doesn't affect paint or anything like that. It's compatible with the brake seals, so you must make sure you've got compatible fluids for the brake seals. So there we go, that's basically it. Hopefully you'll see a bit of time lapse of me sort of sugaring and mucking about, maybe. I'll see what comes out of it, eh? Well, there isn't much to show really, I suppose, but the bleed nipple being up there is quite tight against the bulkhead. It's a real pain to get on and off, and in the process of doing the bleed, as I was squeezing the fluid down, I must have knocked the pot on the undercarriage and partially locked the bleed nipple. Anyway, it blew the pipe off the end there with a syringe, and I soaked the inside of the aircraft. Well, not soaked it, but I got a fair chunk of brake fluid on the inside of the aircraft, and it's not easy stuff to clear up really, but the thing it proves I suppose, is if that was dot 3, all my paint would be blistered by now. As it is, copious amounts of brake cleaner, and we're there. So I've got that much movement on the brake pedal, which isn't an awful lot, one would say, but if I can actually push the brake pedal with my hand and lock up the aircraft brakes to the point at the moment, although it's of course very light, so that the wheels slip along on my garage floor. And really, I'm only using these for manoeuvring. I don't think it's too bad. Don't want to nose over, so they will not be used in anger at speed, that's for sure. Not that type of brake. At least not for me at this moment in time. I might get used to it to a degree and be able to apply them to make the landing a little bit shorter, but I really don't want to be doing that. I like the aircraft to roll out. I've drilled the hole at the front here on the very front plate for the wing mounting. I've only drilled them out 4mm. They've got to be drilled out to 6.4, so 4mm to allow for the fact the whole wing that goes on here, the plates that go either side are sort of set at an angle because of the rake of the upper wings, about 6 degrees. So the hole here will be enlarged to the 6.4 1/4 inch. That'll get rid of the slight anomaly there. It'll be drilled right the way through, and the hole in the rear of these two plates will be further in, so we'll have extra land, so to speak. 1/2 inch land only on there, because there isn't really sufficient room for much more than that. Let me just grab a plate. If I use this as an example, you sort of see there isn't a lot of clearance between that bracket and this, so you have to have it sort of set at the correct position. Yeah, so that's got to be sort of set at the right sort of position. So it's going to have more land there. Right, the rear spar, I did put a centre punch mark just to mark the maximum height this could be, but that line there, that vertical line, is where the plate's going to have to sit. Excuse me while I try and juggle things with my hands, because it'll sit in an angle like that. So that, you can just see it's been inset by just over 1/2 millimetre, which is what I calculated due to the thickness of the material. It's the inset, so that when this goes on to there, I have that line centred on the hole. It can go down, it can't go up from there. It shouldn't be going up anyway, from everything that's on the rigging. If it needs to go up, I'll have to make another plate for the back end there to allow, but I can't see that being a requirement. So I'm hoping that we'll be going down, giving more land at the top. It's a gamble, but I'm going by the original drawings. It should be sufficient in that sort of format. So we're ready in that sort of case for setting the top wings up. I'll put them into position, and drill those through from the front, mark, put a bullet in, stick a drill through the rear side of it, put and have the bullet, and then ream it through. The holes in my plates are currently 6mm, so I'll make a 6mm bullet to go into there, and then I can ream it through 6.4 1/4 inch for an AN4 bolt to go through there. There we go. Yeah, and then we're pretty much laughing on that bit. Well, that's it for this week. Those holes up there are quite a critical part in it. Hopefully everything matches up for the rear end. As I said, I'll have to change the plate if it needs to go up, because I couldn't bring this down anyway. And getting the brakes bled and working, well, that's a big boost. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to crack on to next. Depends on the weather, really. We might end up starting to put the engine back on if we've got nothing much else we can crack on with. Well, we'll see. So look after yourselves, keep well, catch you next time. Bye now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.